Hello everybody, my name is Drago. Today we're going to be talking about infantry equipment, giving you a pro class on what you need to know from basic all the way to top tier end game gear. Before we jump over to the video, I just want to say that I really appreciate all of you for being a big part of the community and helping this channel continue to grow. Speaking of continuing to grow, I would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already, and hit the like button too. That'd be really helpful. And again, really appreciate all of you guys out there continuing to support me and the channel. And let's jump into it. All right, everybody, let's talk about like the base set of equipment here on what you should be using until you start working your way towards all that sweet gold shiny legendary gear. So right now you can see we have a helmet and chest of windswept gear. So this is going to give you attack, which is not that great on the helmet. And then the troop bonus is attack as well, but it's for all troop types, so it's not, the end of the world there. So, but the attack is not that great, but you do get 4% march speed from this. And then the actual chest piece as well, you're looking at 6% defense, which is good, and another 4% march speed. So that's really, really good. The alternative is to maybe put a Helm of the Phoenix here, which gives you 4% defense, and then maybe using a windswept glove. But again, you're going to be losing a lot of defense when you do that. So I think this is just good enough for government work here, because you don't want to go the Witch's Lineage epic helmet here. It's a waste and it's attack anyway. And then there's not really a really good chest piece for infantry until you get to the legendary stuff. Because again, Quinn's Soul is also attack. And then the one before that, like if you go less than windswept breastplate here, you're talking it's the green chest piece where it gives you like 2% defense or something like that. It's really bad. Or it's 4% defense. So it's not even as good as the windswept breastplate, and the windswept breastplate gives you 4% march speed as well. So that's really good. The weapon here, this is one of the last things you want to upgrade, because this will transition into an attack piece when you go into the later sets of equipment here. So you want to keep the health as long as possible. Kerouac's Humility is a staple of most infantry marches, and really you can even use this in end game pieces if you want. The only thing you're really going to be replacing this with is going to be an Eternal Night procced, and again, that's very difficult to do. So until or if you have an Eternal Night's procced, Kerouac's Humility is perfectly fine. This is end game gear, really, if you think about it. And then we talk about Seth's Brutality here, 7.5% defense, which is very, very nice, and again, a good stepping point into basically you'll be getting the same thing with the set piece, maybe a little bit more after proc and everything like that. And then finally, Frost Treads. So 7.5% defense is what you get with proc on Frost Treads, which is the base basically for Shio's Return, or it is the base for the set boots, which is actually what you should be using instead of Shio's Return. But I'll talk about that a little bit later. But once you proc the Shios and proc the set piece, you're talking 10% instead of 7.5%. So that is an upgrade that you do want to make. But this is, again, a great stepping piece. Now, these are harder to come by, the Frost Treads. They're a little harder to come by blueprint-wise than the rest of this stuff. All the other stuff is pretty relatively easy to get a hold of. But the Frost Treads seems, as far as a blueprint standpoint, are a little bit harder to come by. So just keep that in mind as you're floating along. There are other options that are a little bit less than this, but I mean, you could even do a stepping stone to the stepping stone if you want to. But again, I think this is a good starter usable set. I mean, I use this on my Guan Yu in my 916 main account because I don't have a third set of infantry gear that's top tier equipment. So I mean, you gotta run with what you got. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of top tier equipment, that's what this looks like. So this is fully iconic on everything that is procced, and even I did iconic the Ring of Doom as well, because I'm using this in Osiris League. I'm using this in KBK, and I've got extra iconics now, so I'm gonna go ahead and proc a ring. Once I proc a ring, it will be infantry, and I'll iconic that, swap it out. I'll move this over to, say, my Cav Rally or Cav Garrison or whatever I want to do. But that's how I'm going to play it. But this is basically endgame set here. Now, there are a couple things you can tweak. Just like with my last video, I do have a couple things that, based on KVK shop purchases versus set pieces, you can make some changes here. Right now, I've got 2-piece set on the gloves and helm. which gives you the defense bonus of 3%, which is good, on top of obviously both of these being defense based as well. That's 10%. That's 14.5%. So I mean, that's really good as far as defense goes. Optimal pairing, optimal set is your gloves and your boots being set piece, and then do KVK helm and KVK weapon. That's what I actually have on my 307 infantry set as well, which also looks exactly like this, which is really nice. But this is what I've got right now, and this is close enough for government work because Shio's actually is a higher defense than the set piece by 0.5%. So technically, you're taking a little bit of a downgrade when you go set piece boots here, but you get a maybe 2.5% bonus whenever everything's procced up and everything with the KVK helm versus the set piece helm. So I didn't want to go through re-procking both of those items. It just didn't make sense to me. This is really, really, really good. This is top 99.9% equipment here, including a procced hammer here, which is, again, 32.5% attack, which is pretty damn strong. And then, again, I talked about it earlier. Eternal Knight procced is 16% defense. We talked about with Guan what he has, 8% health plus 2.5, so 10.5% health. So again, it's a stepping stone. It is a stepping stone. You can proc this up. If it's not procced, though, you have infantry defense 12% versus 10.5% health. A lot of people tend to favor Kerouac's Humility in this situation where you've procced your epic piece here. Now, again, if you want to iconic it, you got to go the Eternal Knight because you can't iconic epic equipment. Okay. And again, as far as accessories go, reference the first video in this series, the cavalry set video. I go through all the accessories and go through, some of the epic accessories that you could use in these situations, and then certainly the legendaries as well. But if you really want a master accessory guide, go look at the war drums versus the horn video. That gives you exactly what you should be bringing with 5, 6, and 7 marches to the field as a murder ball situation. So it gives you all 10, 12, or 14 best of the best accessories that you want to. The link is right above you if you want to go check that out as we're wrapping this video up here very shortly. But I wanted to show you what you should be looking forward to whenever you're starting to get to the end game with some of these legendary accessories. And again, this is all iconic, which it gives you base stats on top of the actual regular attributes that the equipment provides. So this is really, really good. This is something that you want to eventually, again, bring to the field as a garrison leader, as a rally leader. This is what you need to be bringing as those roles, because this is what's going to dictate how many of your, as well as your kingdom's troops, live or die. So you want to bring this stuff. Don't garrison with this stuff. This is open field, base set. All right. This is something you want to bring with your multiple infantry marches where you don't have enough legendary to all look like this. We're not all, BT. We're not all Baba. We're not all Justin. We're not all these big Kraken players, Mad Phantom, where you got 18 people or 18 marches fully procced out and you're not even using them because he gets so lucky. But I mean, you just don't have that. Most people don't have that. Most people don't even have this. But again, you're working your way towards this. I want you guys to see what you're going to do. Now, again, what order should you be doing it in? Again, I would keep the boots and the weapon for really last. Even the gloves, to a certain extent, can be a little bit on the last side. It's 10% defense versus 7.5% here. I think the boots are a good upgrade. Really, the best ones, though, are going to be the helmet and the chest piece. Those are your top two. Really, the chest piece should be number one, in my opinion. Well, do the helmet first just because it's attack. Then do the chest piece second because it's a huge upgrade from this defense level here. You are losing your march speed, though, so keep that in mind. But then again, I would start working on your boots or your gloves at that point, and then finally finishing off with your pants if you want to change it, and then your weapon to finalize your set. Okay, so again, recommended KVK helmet, KVK weapon to upgrade here. KVK helm, KVK weapon. This is the KVK weapon. Or you can do it this way and not have to worry about reprocking a procced infantry helmet. So this is good enough, in my opinion, to do what needs to get done, and it does give you that 2% or that 3% troop defense when you pair it with your gloves. Again, you can also do it with your boots, whatever you've got. If you already got one of those crafted, just work on that one. There's tons of ways you can do it, but this is really best in slot here. Um, Again, min-max, you want to have the KVK helmet and have the set boots, but that's, again, you're talking 1 or 2% difference. And even then it's, you know, it's not that much. And the amount of materials it would take for me to redo those two things and having already procced both of those things would make me sad in the pants. So with that being said, I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope it's been helpful. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe before you leave. Appreciate you all. Take it easy. Have a good one. I'll see y'all next time.